So today there's a lot of news going on out there in the gaming world, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my thoughts and opinions on a couple news stories concerning stuff that we've looked at in the past that I find pretty interesting. We're going to be talking about the Evercade. They have announced the cartridge pricing, a new publisher, and a few new cartridges with a bunch of games. So we'll take a look at that, give you guys my thoughts and feels on those. And also Konami has finally announced what the complete lineup is for the Contra Anniversary collection. Pretty excited for that. The Castlevania setup was pretty cool in my opinion. I've actually been playing that quite a bit lately, despite my previous video stating that I actually own the physical versions for each of those games. But hey, it is what it is. So first up, we've got Evercade. We've talked quite a bit about these guys. I have a few things to say, but let's take a look at the new information. So we've already had the console pricing. They said one cartridge, $80, 3 carts for $100. You know, that comes with the system. That's like a standard and premium bundle. Curious with the cartridge setups, if you get to choose which carts you get. We'll have to find out. Hopefully they reveal that pretty soon. Cartridge pricing. So to purchase single cartridges, this just seems like a baseline price. There's, you know, nothing less, nothing higher. It doesn't matter how many games comes on the cartridges. I'm assuming this is just standard pricing. Maybe that could change in the future. I don't know, but we're at $20 for a cart. Now, if that was like 1 or 2 games, I would probably have an issue with that. But with these cartridges, they come with a decent amount of games. So $20 for an officially licensed, you know, compilation of games from these companies, I think is not a bad deal. I know I'll hear it and I'll hear it over and over again. I could just emulate this on my Raspberry Pi. I could throw it on my PlayStation Classic. I could play it on my PC. I know, but at the same time, some people like supporting the actual companies who've developed these games. And I've always stated, you know, if they give us the option to buy these things and it's reasonable, I'm going to go for it. I'm not 100% sold yet with the Evercade, but I do have some respect for these guys because I've seen how they have communicated with the community. And I'm pleasantly surprised. You know, I'm a person who's been pretty harsh, talking crap here and there on plenty of things, right? And I've been pretty critical and, you know, skeptical and kind of, you know, held back a little bit on if I'm 100% down with it in the Evercade world. But these guys, man, they really, they know how to deal with the community. You know, they kind of throw little jokes back and forth, nothing crazy, just, you know, they kind of rub elbows with you. And I've seen that quite a bit, you know, instead of going on the attack, it's more like, hey, this is what we're doing. Take a look at this, kind of little teases here and there, a very friendly manner. And I have a lot of respect for that because we've seen a lot of companies, man. I've covered a few of them where they do not know how to handle criticism. And I think these guys are handling it very well and establishing themselves in the community where people can see like, hey, these guys are friendly. They're cool. We can kind of talk to them. So I think that's nice. I really respect that. So going forward, let's see what they've announced as far as these cartridges and games go. I'm not going to go over everything else. If you want to see my previous Evercade videos, take a look at them. But we do have a Namco Museum collection, Collection 1. So obviously, there'll be some new collections in the future. First off, the first 6 games that we see right here, very obviously, are Famicom games. So these are going to be the NES versions. Galaxian, Pac-Man, Exevious, Mappy, Dig Dug, and what is that, Starjuster? I'm not 100% familiar with that one. These are all the Famicom style box arts. You know, when Namcot, however they branded themselves, they numbered all their games and whatnot for the Famicom. I thought it was pretty neat. I do own a few of these cartridges for the Famicom. And then we do have a few other games. Battle Cars. Battle Cars is actually a really interesting game. It's kind of like F-Zero, Mario Kart, and like rock and roll racing, like everything like combined together. The style, the way it looks is very reminiscent of F-Zero as far as, you know, the Mode 7 graphics and how the tracks are styled. You can upgrade your vehicles. There's combat. It's a really neat game. If you haven't played it, definitely check it out. It was released for the Super Nintendo back in the day. That's one that I'm like, you know what? That's pretty damn cool. Metal Marines. The heck am I saying here? Metal Marines, it's like a strategy game. I'm kind of familiar with it. I don't remember playing it too much, but for those of you who are into, little real-time strategy, moving your guys around, doing that crazy stuff. Metal Marines might be kind of cool. That was also a Super Nintendo game. And then we do have Libble Rabble. This game was an arcade game, but it was also released for the Super Nintendo or the Super Famicom. I don't know if it was ever released in the US. I have played this before, like on a compilation thing on like a RetroPie setup. And I was kind of like, okay, this is like Kicks or all those like other Asian games where you're drawing a line to block off part of the screen and try to avoid your cursor getting hit by enemies. That's the kind of game it is. And it's very cartoony, has some cutscenes. It is pretty interesting. It's not one I'm crazy excited about, but hey, it's there. And then another one, Quad Challenge. I believe this might be a Sega Genesis version of it. I know it was released with different names and whatnot for other systems. But Quad Challenge was a Sega Genesis game, and it was not that great. Holy crap. Just very standard, very basic. Not really excited for that. And then we have Mappy Kids. Never played the game. I've seen screenshots and videos of it. I'm not a Mappy fan, but hey, you got Mappy Kids. So that's a total of 11 games. 11 games on one cartridge. Pretty cool. Officially licensed Namco. I said in the previous video, I want to see some surprises. I want to see some crazy stuff. Not these companies that, I know somebody corrected me, whore themselves out to licensing deals. And Namco is definitely one of them who has spread themselves thin all across the board. Not with every single one of these games. So that's why I'm kind of intrigued by it, with Battle Cars, maybe a little bit Metal Marines. Libble Rabble, I don't really care. Quad Challenge, I don't really care. The rest of these games we've had a lot of access to in the past. I believe a lot of this stuff is on the Namco collection for the Switch and various other systems. Galaxian, cool game. I'm not a huge fan. I'd much prefer Galaga. It would be cool to see Galaga, 88, 91, whichever version. It would be cool to see that on here. Not even the original Galaga. Galaga's cool, but it's played the hell out. I mean, I love Galaga. It's one of my all-time favorite arcade games. But to see something different that's not thrown out there all the time would definitely be pretty damn awesome. Galaxian's okay. Came first. I understand it. But man, I want to see some surprises. And right here, my excitement and surprise level out of 100% is at like 15%. And that's only because of like Battle Cars. That's about it. Not really that excited about Namco. Quality stuff, but I want to see some craziness. You know what I'm saying? So next up, which I have mixed feelings because I feel like these Interplay franchises are going in that direction of hoeing themselves out, but not quite there yet. But the excitement level, the surprise level is kind of rising a little bit with this stuff. Claymates, Earthworm Jim 2, which Earthworm Jim 1 is on the first collection that they have coming out. Clay Fighter 2, Judgment Clay. Some people like Clay Fighters, some don't. I'm kind of like, you know what? I owned them and I enjoyed them back in the day. Do they hold up to now? They ain't no Street Fighter, that's for sure. That's for sure. Maybe Street Fighter 1, the original, fighting street type stuff. But might be kind of cool to revisit, but I'm not that excited. Claymates, that was another game I owned as well. I was always intrigued by these clay games for some reason when I was younger. That one was okay. Earthworm Jim 2 is pretty cool. Prehistoric Man, kind of like a Joe and Mac. I don't know. I don't even want to say ripoff because I don't know which one came out first. But Prehistoric Man, you look at it, it's like Joe and Mac. It's like Chuck Rock. It's like all those caveman games from back in the 90s. It does run very smooth. I've played this game. It is a lot of fun. So really cool to see that on there. Rad Gravity's an NES game. So I'm assuming like all these are Super Nintendo games. And then Rad Gravity's an NES game. Or it's like an action adventure platforming type thing. It's been a while since I played it. Not something I was crazy excited about, but I know it has its fan base. It is a pretty unique and interesting game, but just not one that I really have a ton of nostalgia for. And then the Brainies. The Brainies is actually pretty fun. It looks kind of stupid, but it's actually kind of fun. It's like a puzzle game where you have to navigate the little brainy dudes to their colored spot on the map. similar to stuff like Chips Challenge in a way, but instead of collecting keys, you're moving these guys to their colored spot. It just reminds me of Chips Challenge because Chips Challenge, you had different colored keys to open the doors, and the map was kind of similar to how this is, and over the head, kind of different paths and stuff. And if you screw up, you screw up. You got to kind of figure your way out and move each one of these pieces around, each one of these brainies around. So the parallels to Chips Challenge is just that it's a puzzle game, and it involves colors that are familiar to me from Chips Challenge, right? I don't know, but it's a cool game. It's not too bad. 6 games, $20 if you were to purchase this separately from Interplay. Definitely, like I said, the excitement, the surprise level is a little higher on this one. I think that's pretty cool. If they can keep this stuff to themselves, and it's not all of a sudden we've got My Home Arcade releasing Interplay collections with the same exact games, this will hold some value in my eyes. Next up, one that I don't really care for, because I've spoken about this so many times. I'm tired of Atari. Really tired of Atari. And with the way Atari has conducted themselves, not the same company from back when these games were released. I mean, for them to be getting the money for licensing all this stuff, I mean, it is what it is. Their business. They want to do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, 2600 games are not that big a deal to me. They don't hold up. I did grow up with Atari 2600. It was my first console. And I was amazed to play a lot of these games back in the day. For me, they don't hold up. I don't enjoy them. I don't ever have the desire, for the most part. Very rarely, there's a little small percentage where I want to play something, but it is so tiny that I could just not have 2600 in my life anymore, and it wouldn't really matter. Some people are going to disagree with that, but it's not even about disagreeing because it's all subjective. I don't like these games. Other people do. The 7800 games, though, that are on here are actually pretty cool. I'd much prefer to see more 7800 games than 2600 games. Like you got Centipede for 7800, Basketball, which is actually a pretty damn fun game. Asteroids. What else? Desert Falcon, Planet Smashers, and I think that's it for the 7800. Mostly 2600 games, Real Sports Tennis, freaking Pong. You know what I'm saying? Fun, but kind of done with that. Yars' Revenge, Solaris, Radar Lock. A lot of these games I owned. Millipede, Demons to Diamonds, very basic stuff, man. Wizard. Some people might be excited for that. I'm not. If I were to purchase this, and those are all the new ones. There's the rest of this was already previously announced. The other Interplay collection with 6 games, which is kind of interesting. I think the second collection is a little more intriguing to me than this one. Some people really like that Booger Man. Like, a lot of people made that known to me. But if I were to pick my 3 cartridges, I'm telling you right now, it would be the Data East one, the first Interplay one, and the second Interplay one. Those would be the 3 cartridges I pick as of right now. I mean, that'll change in the future once they obviously sign up Capcom and whoever else. Hopefully there's some surprises, though. Damn it. Like I said, get a Pico, get some of their awesomeness out there. But yeah, I would pass up on the Atari stuff. That's just me. I would pass up on the Atari stuff and the Namco stuff as well. That's kind of unfortunate because I kind of would like to have a couple of these, but I wouldn't sacrifice a slot for a cartridge. And I don't know. Maybe I would drop the $20 and buy this one if it was like you could select what cartridges. But there we go. My thoughts on that. Hope to see some more surprises, but a decent start as far as getting these companies licensed and these games thrown on collections for this device. We still need to see a lot more stuff, some hands-on things, no more renders. Give us some real footage. Send one to me to try out. You know what I'm saying? I might be harsh, but I'll give my honest opinion on things. If this thing is cool, I know it's an emulator device. As long as it emulates well, and it feels good. It's got to feel good. It's got to feel good in the hands. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let's do it. Send one over to me, Evercade. We'll let you guys know how it feels. But yeah, there we go. So that's the Evercade news. Next up, before we go, Konami confirms Contra Anniversary Collection game lineup. This one I'm pretty excited for, but digital. Like I said, I purchased the previous Konami Collection digital because there's no physical release, but there's rumors, and I don't believe them. We'll talk about that in a quick second here. But the full lineup, As reported by IGN, I guess they might have had like the exclusive announcement from Konami because Konami like tweeted that out. Check out IGN's article to find out what games there are. But we're getting the Contra arcade game, which I don't really care for. I actually really like the original Contra for the NES. Boom. And you get the Famicom Contra, Super Contra Arcade, Super C NES, Operation C Game Boy, Contra 3 The Alien Wars for the Super NES, Contra Hardcore for the Sega Genesis, which is also going to be on the Sega Genesis Mini. What? Probotector for the Sega Mega Drive, Super Probotector. So Super Probotector and Probotector are just the Super Nintendo, the Alien Wars, and Hardcore released for the European audience. Because back when this released, I mean, maybe in some regions it's still like that now. I know everywhere things are different, but it was like you couldn't have that human violence. You couldn't have dudes getting shot up and all that craziness, even though it was not really gory or anything. I mean, it was kind of, it is what it is. So they made them all robots and stuff. Kind of neat, kind of interesting to see variations of games. So I think that's pretty cool that we get those versions as well. I would definitely check them out because I've been familiar with that thing that happened with Contra in Europe for a long time, but I've never played them. I've never been compelled to. And now I probably will play them because why not play as a robot version of a dude in Hardcore and the Alien Wars, now known as Super Probotector Alien Rebels. What? So that's what I'm talking about. But it goes even beyond that. IGN reports that the Japanese versions of 6 games in the collection will be released as a part of a free update. That is cool. Really do appreciate that. So I would love this to be physical, but it's going to release sometime summer, $20, PS4, Nintendo Switch, everything, right? Windows PC, the Xbox One. It's going to be all over the place for you to enjoy. But there was some talks. I know I saw the other day, but I kind of didn't really bat an eye at this yesterday. German retailer lists Contra physical release for the Switch. So a lot of people are like, holy schmoly macaroni balls. We're getting a physical version for the Switch being released in Germany of the Contra Anniversary collection. I don't know if I necessarily believe this because Konami has stated that they weren't really doing any kind of physical in-store versions of these collections, that they're just going to be straight digital. And I believe Konami when they say that. But what does this look like? When you go to the actual German retailer, they don't have no damn picture. This is like $34.95. I don't think this is that. This may be some other Contra game. This may be jumping the gun on some stuff because they state it's going to release September 24th. Is that still summertime? I don't think so. I think that might be close to fall time, right? But the weather's been getting strange out there, man. It's still kind of like Southern California. It should be hot as hell right now, but it ain't. I don't know what's going on with this. I hate that, guys. It gets cooler. It stays cooler and cooler. And then the summer hits and it's freaking hot until freaking Christmas, man. Like, I love Halloween. I was married on Halloween. I have kids. I enjoy going out with them, taking them to go trick-or-treating, go to little festivals and activities out there. And you can't even dress up or have fun because it's like 120 freaking degrees at 6 p.m. You know what I'm saying? I hate that, man. What the hell's going on with this world? I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, it sucks, man. But yeah, I don't know. It'll probably September 24th, whatever Contra game this is, it'll release and it's going to be like 145 degrees, ball sweating this freaking atmosphere out there. This could just be whatever. Nobody else talked about it. Nobody else has seen anything. There is no cover, net games, whatever. There's no information here. It's just assumptions and rumors. I don't believe anything about this. I think this company jumped the gun and just put a placeholder for something they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But hey, I could be proven wrong. Maybe it will be the anniversary collection. And you know what? If it is, will I buy it? Maybe. I really like physical versions of stuff, but by the time this comes out digitally, if we don't have confirmation of a physical version, I'll just buy the digital version. So there you go, guys. That's what's in the news today as far as stuff that I care about. I know there's tons of other stuff. Mario Maker 2 not supporting friend lists or, being able to play with your friends online. And there's a reason behind that. to me, I don't really care because I just want to play the game and play levels. I don't really care about the multiplayer aspect. And, but I understand, especially with limited chat features, the Switch sucking with that kind of stuff. You're playing with strangers online. It feels like you're just playing with a PC. You know what I mean? So it would be nice to be able to play with actual friends. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to comment on that. I don't think I'm going to do a standalone video on that. Not really something I care about that much. I just want to get Mario Maker 2 and start playing some levels. You guys send me some levels. We'll freaking play them. Maybe I'll do videos. I don't know. Love Mario Maker, so can't wait. So really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. With that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, Probotector, and bye-byes. Bye. Thumbs up. Bye.